Hello everyone, welcome back to Talking History. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you all keeping well. And no, you are not seeing things. Yes, I do have a cat behind me. Harley has decided he wants to join me. So before we get into today's video, I just want to say sorry I missed last week and thank you for your patience and your support. Unfortunately, the weekend before something happened to me. Well, not me personally, but something, and it was completely out of my control and it affected me a lot more than I thought, and I just needed that time to clear my head. My anxiety hit the roof and yeah, I struggled. I really struggled, but I'm very lucky in having a very supportive husband. My husband's name is James. I keep calling him husband, but well, he is my husband. But anyway, so James is very supportive and he's very understanding, and I think he knows more about my mental health than I do half the time. And I've always been very open about my mental health. It's about time that there's more awareness of mental health, and I'm always open to say that I'm struggling and I just need time. And so last week I struggled and I needed time. I'm still not quite 100%, but I am certainly a lot better than I was last week. Last week I was a blubbing mess. I was constantly crying and I just wanted to hide under the duvet all the time, which isn't the healthiest, but that was how I felt at the time. And I just needed that little break to clear my head as much as I can anyway. So like I said, I just need a little bit longer. I'm just desperate for a holiday now. I'm ready for a holiday. But so anyway, thank you for all your continued support. And if you are struggling right now, I just want to give you a big hug and say it will be okay. You will be okay. It's at the time when it's happening, you can't see throughout the fog. It's really hard, and when you get stuck in your head, it is terrifying. I don't know what my cat's doing. But you are not alone. You really are not alone. Please, please, please remember you're not alone, and there are people there who really want to help you. And anyway, just keep going. Don't stop. Keep going. Bye, Holly. So anyway, so let's get back into today's video, which the whole reason you're here for is to talk about our favourite subject, which is history. And so today I thought, let's go to Scotland. It's been a while since it's been a few weeks since we've been to Scotland and I missed it. So we are still in the Norman period. Don't worry, I haven't switched to a different era. So we are still in the Norman period. And for today's video, it's going to be all about King Alexander the First of Scotland. And if he is someone you are interested in, you know exactly what you got to do. Keep your bum right there and keep watching. Yeah. Alexander was born around 1077 and he was named after Pope Alexander II. Alexander was a member of the House of Canmore through his father Malcolm III of Scotland, but he also had Anglo-Saxon blood running through his veins from his mother Margaret of Wessex, who was later Saint Margaret. So both Malcolm and Margaret died within days of each other in 1093 when Alexander was around 16. Now Malcolm's brother Donalbain, or Donald III, he quickly seized the throne for himself, and the royal princes, including Alexander, were captured by Donald, but they were rescued by their maternal uncle Edgar the Eighthling and was taken to northern England for their safety. So Donald became Donald III of Scotland, but his reign was interrupted by his eldest nephew, Duncan. Now, Duncan was Malcolm's eldest son through his first marriage, but Duncan was murdered shortly after seizing the throne. So Donald regained the throne, however, not for very long. Donald's other nephew, Edgar, Alexander's older brother, had returned to Scotland and he seized the throne in 1097. Now, Edgar had made Alexander the Earl of Gowrie. I hope I pronounced that right. Edgar had reigned for 10 years, but he never married and he didn't have any children of his own. So when he died at the age of 33 in 1107, he named Alexander as his heir. But he also made a wish for their youngest brother David to govern the lowlands of Scotland, whereas Alexander governed the rest. So Alexander was crowned on the 8th of January 1107. So Alexander, he eventually followed his late brother's wishes to have David govern the lands which included Lothian and southern Strathclyde. But Alexander at first, he denied David those lands, but David had become a favourite of Henry I, who was also their brother-in-law. So it's possible that Alexander had relented more out of fear more than brotherly love. But Alexander, he liked to challenge himself. He challenged himself by modernising medieval Scotland. He introduced coins, and the oldest surviving Scottish coins date back to Alexander's reign. He also created new offices. Now, these were already in existence in England, and they were like the chancellors, the constables, and the sheriffs who help implement Alexander's will throughout the Kingdom of Scotland. Alexander also continued the policies of his mother, taking a great interest in church affairs. Alexander also invited more priests from northern England to help modernise the Scottish church. Alexander was determined to keep the Scottish church independent. When he was modernising the Scottish church, there was resistance to these modernisation policies, mostly from the northern part of his kingdom. The much more traditional Celtic people in Mearns and Moray, I really hope I pronounced that right, they were forcibly pushed back even further into the north, and it was there, according to the medieval chroniclers, that Alexander had become known as Alexander the Fierce or the Strong. Now, Alexander, he was a hands-on military leader, and he was well known to wear Turkish armour and ride an Arab stallion. So Alexander had also founded the priory at Scone in Perthshire around 1115. Now, Scone was the traditional place of the coronation of Scottish kings and the location of the famous Stone of Scone. Scone. How do you pronounce it? Anyway, which was a traditional symbol of Scottish nationhood. Alexander had also invited Augustine canons from Nostell Abbey in Yorkshire to found the priory, which later became an abbey and the host of future coronations. However, there's always an however, isn't there? Alexander's grip on his kingdom was far from fully secure. Scotland was still being formed as a single nation, and chroniclers from the time had wrote that he held his kingdom with a great deal of effect. Now, relations in England, they were peaceful, as in 1101, Alexander's sister Edith, who later became Matilda, had married England's King Henry I, And the alliance was strengthened even further when Alexander married Henry's illegitimate daughter, Sabella. Now, the Scottish medieval chroniclers, they weren't very flattering when they described Sabella. They described her as lacking in both looks and modesty. So England and Scotland's relationship went beyond diplomatic ties in 1114 when Alexander personally led a Scottish army to assist Henry with his campaign in Wales. But Alexander's reign ended when he died on the 23rd of April 1124 at the age of 47 at Stirling Castle near the chapel he had founded in Sabella's memory after she died. Alexander was buried in Dunfermline, and although Alexander and Sabella had no children of their own, Alexander had one illegitimate son named Malcolm. And Malcolm, he had some support, mainly in the Gaelic parts of Scotland. Malcolm's claim to the throne was strengthened even more when he married the sister of Somerled, the Lord of Argyll. That's Harley having a meow. Legitimacy, though, had remained a crucial requirement of Scottish monarchy, and Alexander's youngest brother David took the throne as King David I of Scotland in 1124. David had quashed 2 serious rebellions by Malcolm, and Malcolm would be imprisoned in Roxburgh Castle. David went on to form a Scottish kingdom larger and more unified than ever before, and the House of Canmore continued to rule Scotland until 1286 with the death of Alexander III. And there's Alexander's story. Let me know what you think of the Canmore, let's call them Canmore, the House of Canmore, and the all the nephews and brothers, and anyway, a little bit of a short video today, just a little bit of a ease back in. So thank you again for all your continued support, and please do like and subscribe and share and all the good stuff, because you are all amazing and keep being amazing. And I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Oh, and Harley says bye.